guys, welcome back to the Kosha Yaya channel. I'm Kosha. We are still right in the middle of Pride Month, so of course there's always a lot to talk about. I'm just going to go ahead and get started with, of course, the fact that we know that we have the ongoing battle of biological men dying to compete in women's sports. And one thing that was brought to our attention this week was remembering in 1998 at the Australia Open when Serena and Venus Williams decided to take on any man in that sport that was just not within the top 200 men. So within the top 200 men. So what they did is they went on to compete against, I forget his name, but he was ranked 203rd in the men's category at this Australia Open. Now, both sisters went on to compete against this man and both of them lost, hands down. It stated that he didn't even put forth a lot of effort. Now, we all know these women are famous for a reason. They are incredible athletes, and yet they were unable to win against this biological man who was ranked 203rd in his category. 203rd. So I don't know when there is going to be something scientific come out to where we can excuse the fact that we're allowing men to go in and take women's places in these activities. I don't understand it. There is no sense in it. There's a reason why we haven't seen anything scientific or medical to back why this could be right. But I thought that that was a really good point that was brought up, was back in 98, two all-star tennis players, females, get beat by a man who couldn't even last the first round in the men's division. What do you know? Speaking of sports, I am really excited. This warmed my heart to hear that the LA Dodgers had a huge come out of fans where many Christians and just people who believe in Jesus came forward at their most recent game, and they were having signs, they were praying, some even brought things just to show their faith in Jesus Christ and just to show support for him, and truly put their faith on the line, where the Dodgers recently had their anti-Christ group come to the stadium. And I just thought that was incredible. And with that, there was a group that had actually, after the whole craze happened with the Dodger Stadium and how they brought in the anti-Christ Catholic group, not Catholic, not truly Catholic. You all know what I'm talking about. So, but shortly after this, there was a group, a corporation that came forward in California and started a fundraiser, and they ended up raising over $1 million that all went towards an ad that was going to be able to go against anti-Catholic bigotry across the air. So I thought that that was amazing. They were able to raise over $1 million, and it just shows how there are so many individuals out there, even though all of the craziness gets the headlines and it makes us think that it's all going crazy and it's all hitting rock bottom, which, don't get me wrong, in many ways it is, but by a select group, and they just like to be more insane and do things so outlandish that it really tries to shadow over the larger group of people who do know right from wrong and truth from falsities. So I just thought that was incredible, and I am so glad that people are standing up for what they believe and not shying away from that, but being proud. And not only are they, of course, praising Jesus, but they're also praying for those individuals who are so lost right now. So I just thought that was phenomenal. Great story to hear. And speaking of a great story to hear, I was at a loss of words because I just recently read that a doctor has finally come forward and stated that hormone blockers, puberty blockers, shut down the hypothalamus in the brain. Now, and I know I always say that wrong, bear with me, but so for those of you who don't know, this area controls emotions, like the ability to feel joy, happiness, pleasure. It can affect your mood substantially. It can affect your sex drive, your sleep, your ability to just have a stable and sound mind. And this doctor came forward and said, this, of course, is what is attributing to so many suicides within the transgenders, because as soon as you start taking these puberty blockers, you are shutting off something that your brain physically needs for you to be able to go about in society, to be able to think rational thoughts. And so when you shut this down, you are literally handicapping your brain's ability to think rationally. And so we have said this for so long now, how these procedures, these drugs, these surgeries, these things are basically the same as handing a heroin addict a needle if someone is unhappy with themselves, to just say, oh, well, here, let me give you this drug to just change completely. Yes, it's completely irrational. We've been saying it, and now there's actually been at least one doctor that has come forward to say, you're right, it is completely irrational, and all it is damaging. So I was happy to hear that, even though one part of me wanted to pull my hair out and say, well, of course, we've known this. We've known this. Of course it's affecting the brain. Of course it's taking away all sense of reality. So anyway, it's really awesome to hear that a doctor was stepping forward to do that. So now, speaking of irrational thinking, of course, I'm sure many of you know that Republican members of the Senate and the government are receiving threat letters around the nation, and they are signed by their biggest despisers. I'm pretty sure that that is not coming from people who are following Christ and who are fighting for what's right. Don't even have to go into that, because we all know it's true. We know where it's coming from. And pray that the individuals who thought that that was a good idea can be found and shut down really quickly. So, however, I do have something that maybe I should be ashamed to say I'm extremely excited about, but the fact that we have been told that articles of impeachment against Joe Biden have been sent makes me so ecstatic. This country has been through so much since he has went into office, and he has yet to step up and actually fight for the things that need to be fought for. He's too busy being the center of attention in a lot of the things that are not only taking away from the focus of real world, real national matters, but it's also attempting to attack our youth and just completely tear our country apart. No, those are the things he's focused on. But these articles of impeachment were actually brought to the table when they said he is not even dealing with this national border crisis. He has had a completely disregard for the importance of this matter, and the seriousness and the neglect here has been so outlandish and just so straightforward that the president has shown absolutely no shame in his complete absence in the fight to protect our country. So the slightly humorous and slightly frustrating thing is that some of the Democrats are actually stating that this was a frivolous attempt on the Republicans to attempt this impeachment, when we all know this was not frivolous. This is long overdue. There are so many things that, like I said, he has neglected, and the border crisis is just one of them. And you know that we could go into so many different things, but we don't have to, because we all know. So I am so happy to finally see that being moved through Congress, and I hope that there are about 10 different reasons that are added to the pile, because we all know that it should happen. So definitely praying, because we all want what is best for our country, not because I want to do something bad to Joe Biden, but because I want what is right for our country and for our citizens of America. And so, guys, just keep your heads high, and remember, fight for what's true, fight for what's right, and do not be silent, because we are moving in the right direction, and we will make it happen. So exciting news there. I hope you guys have an amazing week. That's it for now. Thank you for joining me at the Kosha Yaya channel.